we go.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Motel A&M. I have two familiar faces here, and one unfamiliar face and a picture on my right side. It's been a while. Michael? Eddie?
Oi.
Jill? We have two new
What's
hosts.
up, everybody?
Two new hosts this season. Trying to expand our horizons. And we'll see how it turns out. I'm going to turn it over to Mike. He's got some announcements for us.
Do I have announcements? I think I do. Eddie, this might be the biggest one for you. I know you've been waiting for this for a long time. It's taken us over a year. Over a year. And finally, we did it. We're on Apple Podcasts now, officially. Search us up on Motel A&M, and you should see us at the podcast. But I think you do have to have that podcasting app for Apple. But nevertheless, good job. New Instagram account, Motel A with the letter N, M, so Anim. Possible TikTok account. YouTube will still be up. Thank you all for the support. It's been insane how October our numbers just skyrocketed to the top.
To the moon, baby.
Yeah, of course we've been absent. We're back, but after seeing how many people were like listening to our stuff, like we had to come back, So awesome. Last announcement, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So unfortunately, men are like criticized heavily if we speak about our feelings. And I just want to encourage, if you guys ever feel the need to talk to somebody, or if you're feeling down, like vent it out to somebody. And if you need any ears, hit one of us up, and for sure we'll be more than happy to help.
Did you know that part of the reason No Shave November is because of Men's Health Awareness Month? Also, cancer awareness. So, little tidbit there for you for No Shave November. All right.
And here I've been shaving.
I
can't grow facial hairs, so
Same.
We're all still boys. That's what I like to hear.
It's all right. I'll grow it out.
Boys.
I'll grow it out for each and every one of you.
It'll take a while.
All right, guys. Today, we have a new idea on the show. We're gonna do themed episodes, so we're gonna try it out today. See how everyone likes it. We're gonna do conspiracies today.
You hawking a loogie? Are you okay? You got a spit?
That's supposed to be the explosion.
Like, bong.
Oh. Did we not pay the editor or something?
Oh,
what
no.
happened?
We actually had to kick that guy off the pay.
Are we gonna have to do like weird?
We can't
noises
afford
with,
sound
like...
effects here, guys. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna start it off. Like, how many of you guys actually believe our life is a simulation, like the Matrix, like the weird coincidences and the glitches that we have? You're like, I've seen this before, but I don't remember from where. Well, today I'm gonna start us off with the first one, and I have a conspiracy theory from just down the road from us, from Fresno.
Oh.
And this man, his name is Zhong Lang, and he was an activist. Zhong Lang, sir.
Oh, not Shang-Chi in the Ten Rings?
No, sir. We'll save that for a different episode. So this man, he would search up what the police and the government were doing in his local area, and they were catching on to him. And on his Facebook, he kept saying, "If you guys end up finding me dead, it was the police." About 3 days before he died, he had started putting up Facebook posts that there was a weird van right by his house, and people were sneaking in. And after that, they were trying to frame him for a sex pedophile. Yeah. So they somehow got into his house when he wasn't there, got his computer, hacked into it. He thinks that it was just people with AT&T internet, because apparently a lot of people in Fresno who were like pedophiles were all linked to AT&T, so he thinks AT&T was giving them the information. He ended up finding out about it and ended up sending a letter to the FBI, the Department of Justice, to no avail, obviously. and the next day they found his house in flames as his neighbors saw the smoke coming out. And his death was ruled a suicide for some reason. After he had 3 stab wounds and apparently was shot 4 times. So the question was, how can this man hide the weapon after stabbing himself 3 times and get shot and set the house on fire? Yeah.
So
Did the police actually kill him? Did he kill himself? Set his house on fire and make the police look bad?
So I got to figure it out. Here's what happened. Hear me out.
All right, let's go.
All right.
So he was in the kitchen. He fell, and like when he fell, he grabbed the knife rack and like it tipped on its side and fell. So the knives magically were sticking up, and just stabbed himself 3 times. And then he was like, "Oh shit, they're on to me. I'm gonna die. I might as well shoot myself also." And so he grabbed his gun. He grabbed his gun and was like, "All right, here we go." Boom. Wait, no, it's you. Go, Michael. 2 more. 1 more. And then the last one penetrated him, shot the gas line, blew up the house.
I didn't hear the stove turn on, so.
You know,
Case closed.
I think Atwater is really looking for an investigator, and I think you should really apply for that position. You know what's interesting though? When I was doing my research, and I found like a story similar to that, where it was this guy in the police force in a different state here, and pretty much same thing. He was onto something, and they pretty much like exploited him for CP, and he was like apparently really good with computers. So people are like, why would he, a man with great knowledge of computers, just have a CP lying around? Like, if it was someone that sophisticated, they would know better
Then just leave it lying around.
Yeah. Anyways, the police raid him. He sends his wife out, and he commits suicide. And so people are like, that's a frame. So there's there's very similar stories like this kind of, and it's shocking that it's that close to us.
When I was researching this, there was a lot where I found where you would find like the child pornography, as you were saying. Like they would find the rings of the people involved, and like a few days or down the line, they end up being killed or suicide.
The 10 rings.
I knew you were gonna say it. I was like, so Shang-Chi.
Eddie didn't say anything. I just felt like I had to do it. By the way, these research topics, they do not, how would you say, represent the thoughts of the men here at Motel A&M. We're just, we're storytellers.
That's what we are.
Yeah, I'm storytellers.
Also, it came from the internet, so it could all be false.
Yeah, a lot of this could be fabricated lies and whatnot.
That's why it's a conspiracy. Or not.
It's true.
All right.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Eddie, JL?
Solved it
I
already.
just
I
don't
know about you
understand
guys.
how like a guy has a back, he stabbed himself in the back and in the gut, and you rule it a suicide. Like it seems fishy. I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see why the conspiracy theory is there, because it doesn't sound like what you would think is a typical. I mean, it's just so over the top,
Mm-hmm.
Just especially when he was getting onto them, and then all these weird events happen. Just
Right.
too much coincidence for me. All right, I'm done with mine. Eddie solved the case already. Who's next?
I will go next, guys.
Let's go, Big Ed.
Oh. Okay then.
Go
So I got a little story for you guys. Now, you guys know me pretty good. You guys know that over the last year, I've kind of become a pretty big F1 fan. And over the last year, I learned about this really interesting story tied to F1, and particularly to Monaco. So for those of you that don't know, Monaco is one of the most difficult courses that the guys race on in the F1 calendar. So This is a race that runs around the Monte Carlo Casino, basically right around the ocean. It's a huge deal. So in motorsport, there's something they call the Triple Crown of Motorsport, and basically what that is it's getting a win at Monaco, at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and a win at the Indy 500. So it's something that's very rare because these are all different races that you would have to compete in different classes. So very few guys in history have actually got this done. So normally, whenever a guy goes and wins Monaco, it's a big deal. So our story starts in 2004 at the Monaco Grand Prix, where a guy by the name Jarno Trulli won his first and only F1 race at the Monaco Grand Prix. However, despite being a first-time race winner at one of the most prestigious events in motorsport, this is not the reason why people remember the Monaco Grand Prix this year. So some of you guys might have seen the movies Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12. I don't even know which one they're on anymore, but I'm sure you guys have seen the heist movies here. Well, at the time, in 2004, they were promoting Ocean's 12, which was going to take place across Europe, and the Monte Carlo Casino was actually serving as one of the filming locations. So the marketing team for Ocean's 12 decided to take advantage of the Monaco Grand Prix and use it as an advertisement opportunity. So this is where the Jaguar F1 team comes in. Now, this team doesn't exist anymore, and part of the reason is because back in 2004, these guys were struggling majorly for cash. So, being that they were struggling so much for cash, when they were approached about a publicity stunt for the Ocean's 12 movie, these guys jumped right on board. However, due to the fact that they were probably in such need of cash, they kind of ignored some of the risks they were taking by doing this. And so basically what the Jaguar F1 team agreed to do was they were going to run the race with a $500,000 diamond on the front nose cone of their F1 car. So they had one on each car. So they're basically running with $1 million diamonds through the most difficult race that you could possibly compete in all of
Good
F1.
question. Good question.
Yeah.
How much is that car worth?
Like a Formula One car?
Yeah, just by itself without the diamond.
I mean, at the 2004, I couldn't tell you really, but I know like current modern day cars are probably like $20 million.
So,
Yeah.
so child's play, for a whole car.
Sure. But
Yeah,
I mean,
But still, you get it.
yeah.
But they were struggling
Yeah.
for money at that point, so they had no choice at that point.
Yeah. Well, anyways, part of the reason that people think that this might have been them being a little over ambitious and a little greedy and maybe a little too eager was the fact that none of these diamonds were insured. So if something were to happen to the diamonds, Jaguar's got to pay out of pocket. So the diamonds were provided by the Ocean's 12 team working with a guy named Benny Steinmetz, and his name will come back up later, so just keep that one in the back of your head. But pretty much what happened is the team's running with the diamonds throughout the whole weekend. Everything's going great up until we get to the race on Sunday. And one of the Jaguar drivers named Christian Klein, going through one of the slowest corners in all of the race, puts his car right into the wall. So normally in F1, when there's a big crash or there's a lot of debris on the track, they got to pull out a safety car and they got to get a crew out there to clean everything up. So the crew gets out there, they start cleaning everything up. Now in the confusion of cleaning everything up, somehow this $500,000 diamond goes missing. Nobody knows what happened. So obviously, after the fact, Jaguar now has to pay for this diamond, which was uninsured because it was their driver's fault who ran the car into the wall. And now this team that was struggling quite heavily for money now has another $500,000 in debt that they have now taken on because of this mistake from their driver. So, long story, what happens to the Jaguar team is they end up getting bought out by a little team called Red Bull Racing.
I know that team.
So, the conspiracy, though, is that this might have been a setup from the Red Bull team to get the Jaguar team bought at a discount. So this guy, Benny Steinmetz, is rumored to have been an investor in Red Bull back in those days. The driver, Christian Klein, was pretty much lost his F1 seat right after the fact. Their other driver, Mark Webber, was one of Red Bull's most successful drivers, which stayed on. A lot of guys in the Jaguar team got to keep their jobs. Half of the team pretty much didn't know what was going on, and they pretty much just got booted out. So I'll kind of give it to you guys. Do you think that Red Bull Racing and this Benny Steinmetz guy basically planned this crash to kind of basically make Jaguar, put them in a position where they can just, offer them chump change and buy the team for free or for next to nothing?
With a name like Benny Steinman or whatever, Steiner, that sounds pretty fishy. Something a little crusty with that name. I would look into that guy first.
Actually, to that point, Michael, I was researching this guy, and it turns out that he's currently in jail for other fraud allegations relating to his mining and diamond business.
Scumbag.
There's no conspiracy here. There's no conspiracy. That shit was planned.
Yeah. It does sound like it's planned.
All right, I'll solve this one too.
All right, go.
So what happened? What happened was, job, because they wanted to buy him out, and so he was like, "All right, F it, F1, get it, F it." It's
This guy.
and so he was like, "All right, here's this turn. This is probably gonna mess it up the longest." Throws it into the wall, gets out of his car before anybody sees him from the crash, gets the diamond, puts it in his tracksuit, and then he goes. Boom.
Joe,
That actually does kind of sound believable.
Joe, how big was this diamond?
I mean, I've just seen pictures. It looks pretty big, honestly.
Yeah,
it's a $500,000 diamond.
Yeah.
I didn't see
diamond.
anything like on the carat, like what carat diamond it was or anything. And values for it are kind of vary across the internet, but the number I saw thrown around the most was like 420,000.
Is it possible maybe one of the crew members just swept it up, like, oh, look at this diamond, I'm just gonna take it out over here during the crash?
Or
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
what if all that is completely fabricated and the team actually ran off with the diamond and put a fake diamond, like a sleight of hand? They're like, oh, nothing here. And they started the race with actually a fake diamond. So when the guy crashed, it was no big worry. It was like, oh, yeah, they got to act it out. But then, in reality, everyone's like, oh, my God, they just totaled 20 million, blah, 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 and a $5 million diamond. These guys are so fucking screwed,
So what happened was, Shang-Chi needed one of the diamonds.
Oh
for
my
his
God.
tattoo.
You haven't even seen that movie.
I think for me, when I was looking this up, one of the things that's kind of interesting is just the fact that when you think about the reason why they did it, which is to promote the Ocean's 12 movie, which is literally about them stealing these ridiculously expensive jewels. Was it the Ocean's 12 team maybe that just did it as a marketing stunt?
Oh. I forgot about that until
never
you
told anybody.
Matt Damon stole him.
That would have been really smart to do.
Was he in that movie?
Yeah, he
Matt
is.
Damon?
Yeah, Matt Damon stole him.
Is Paul Walker in that movie too?
Hey,
Or in one of the series?
I don't think he's in that one.
you
I
leave
think
Ryan
it's George
O'Connor alone.
Clooney, Matt Damon. I don't remember who the other guy is.
Bradley Cooper? What? Not Bradley Cooper.
Dude, that would actually be insane if that
Marky
was
Mark?
Oh, he seems like more likely to do that.
Marky
Kidding.
Mark? Whoa. I know why you feel that way. I get it.
So
But
Joe,
yeah, man, that's crazy.
I just have a question.
Yeah, I feel like if it was a marketing stunt for the movie, it's pretty genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but then you would have wanted to come clean about it too, be like, oh, we fooled you guys. See, just like the movie.
Or maybe there's smart people out there like JL that was like, that's a marketing stunt. That's a marketing stunt. Maybe the whole thing was a whole marketing stunt. And there was actually no diamonds that were worth that much on the cars.
All right, I got it. I'm gonna solve this one now.
All right,
It was
let's hear it.
It was Zhong Lang. That's why he died. He has his diamond.
Not Shang-Chi?
No.
God.
Yeah, I'd totally stick with the marketing stunt idea if it wasn't for that Benny Steinmetz guy being like a convicted
sketchy.
criminal at this point for fraud. So it's like, okay, well, he has a history of this.
It's just
Fair.
very coincidental, like the other one. Like, oh, Red Bull's like, oh, we'll buy you out, guys. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's great timing, right?
Yeah.
Red Bull, where are they from? Are they American?
Australia.
team or-
No,
Australia.
they're English based.
Australia.
Well, the F1
Gives
team is
you
based
wings.
in the UK though.
Isn't Jaguar also based in the UK?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Starting to connect the dots.
A
Next
Jaguar.
next episode, we're gonna have like a whole drawing board,
We're
and
gonna have the.
We're gonna have a rubber band board, a string board.
you're gonna see with my hair like all crazy. I'm gonna be like, guys, I think I'm gonna solve it.
I think I solved it. All right, guys. Who's next? Who's got an interesting one? Eddie.
I don't know about interesting, but I'll give it a run for its money. Okay, here we go. So, do you guys know about this company called Disney?
What?
Yes,
Never
sir.
heard of them.
Really?
Is that the same one as
Well-
Disneyland?
So, stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me.
All right, you got my attention already.
Okay. So there was a big conspiracy that Walt Disney, right, when he died, was put right so he could come back whenever it was possible. And so Disney always had this problem that they kept getting asked this, right? And so theory is that they made the movie Frozen to try and hide that because it would be a very popular thing. They would look up Disney Frozen, like all the keywords like Walt Disney Frozen,
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, all right, let's cover this up by making a movie called Frozen. So the only time it'll show up, it'll be the movie. And that's all I got.
Actually, so this is the one where they freeze him, and then like on the 50th anniversary or whatever, he's supposed to like be defrosted apparently.
Or something like that. Or
Yeah.
just he comes back whenever. I mean, you've seen Family Guy do a bunch of skits with it too.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, let's not get into that actually.
Bro, all these, yours and JL's like that's so like ingenious. Like I would have never thought that. Like, oh, let's throw the crowd off by making a movie with Walt Disney Frozen,
And then
that would
the first thing that would come up would be the movie. You'd
Yeah.
have to dig so much just to find out something about Walt Disney being frozen.
So at the end of said article, and this is also allegedly, that his daughter was like, well, he died about 50 years ago from lung cancer, right? So 50 years ago, what, 60s?
71.
Something like that. It's not exact. I don't know when it was. Cryogenics or whatever, like cold stuff. You get it.
Yeah.
Wasn't a thing yet. But I mean, he was a rich and powerful. So
who knows? Maybe.
Yeah,
Have you not seen Captain America?
that's what I'm saying.
That guy was frozen, and that was back
Exactly.
in like the 50s. Come on,
Exactly.
anything
And
could happen.
she also said he was cremated 2 days after. So who
Can
knows?
I throw a little conspiracy in there? Like some people
Yeah,
say
go.
we have the cure for cancer, but do they just make people pay for all these remedies? Maybe they had the stuff back then. We just don't know about it during the time.
Hey,
Mhm.
there's no money in healing people. If you heal them,
For
your
example,
money goes away.
insulin. Insulin is skyrocketed for diabetics, which is like a big problem in our area. And if you don't got the money to pay for it, you're just taking a dive down into your health.
We should stop talking about Big Pharma because we're gonna end up like fucking
We're
Homeboy
gonna-
from the first one. We're gonna end up
Would
like
be like-
Shang-Chi.
We're gonna make an episode where like, guys, there's like vans outside our house.
I fell on the knife rack.
Oh god. They make it.
Orgasm.
They make
Not
yours
to throw
specifically that
not to
one.
throw it in a little bit of a tangent, but to the whole like him being possibly frozen in there, would you guys like if given the opportunity like be cryogenically frozen?
No.
When I came back, would I be like the same? But like, like if I did it when
You'd
I
be
was
at the, yeah, you'd be the age that whenever it happened. So if you got cryogenically frozen now, whenever you wake up,
Question.
you're still in your 20s.
Question.
Yes.
Will I come out looking like Captain America, like all ripped when I'm like defrosted?
No, sir, you've been cryogenically frozen, not injected with super soldier serum.
Jesus Christ, this guy's frozen. Also, look at his arms.
You're,
I probably come out looking like a twig.
you go in with the belly, come out with the belly.
I think
Yeah.
it would be interesting, like 70 years into the future.
I don't.
I just
don't
feel
know.
like you're here for your time. You do your thing, and you're gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of down to live the life I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I'm down to keep rocking.
I mean, ain't no better
Oh.
time than right now, honestly, on Earth.
Mm,
Go back 2,000 years ago. You're getting rolled by cats in Egypt.
That is true.
can't hold me down.
What about you, Joe?
Normally, no. If I was terminally ill like him and had lung cancer, probably.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's smart actually.
But wouldn't it come back to that thing where like you have to adjust to the time, and he'd probably be like, "Well, what's all different now? You know, it was a different time in the 50s, 60s.
Like that one movie,
Forever Young."
Demolition Man,
Oh, that's a different
Whoa.
one too.
where the homeboy fucking good old Sly Stallone is going up against Wesley Snipes.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey, yeah, good old Sly. What do you mean you put me in the freezer and brought me back in 20 years? What?
You guys leave
Love
Rocky
That's
alone.
spot on.
Love you, Sly. Love you, Sly. This is no hatred. Love you, Sly.
We're gonna get
Yeah, have you guys seen that movie?
we're gonna get
Demolition
taken
Man?
down by Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, and he just killed the podcast.
Have you guys seen that though? That movie,
Never. I don't even watch movies. What's even a movie?
Demolition Man. Nobody. Alex has
Actually,
watched
no, I
it.
don't think
Yeah.
I have.
JL.
I don't think I have. No. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've watched it.
So homeboy, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Good old Sly was like a badass cop, and like he was trying to chase this one guy, Wesley Snipes, and like he like kind of set him up, and like blew up a building, making it short, really short here, blew up a building and he killed a bunch of innocent people, and so he got like obviously got in trouble, and the court ordered him to be cryogenically, he was put to sleep,
Mhm.
and he came back. How many years, Alex?
It was about almost 40 years later.
Yeah, 40 years later. And so Wesley Snipes escapes, right? From being also cryogenically
Frozen.
asleep, frozen. You get it. And they were like, well, what are we going to do? Who's going to find this guy? Or who's going to take him down? It's last time. They call him. And then, he has to adjust to how everything is. And it's just crazy. Who's the chick in that movie also, Alex?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock. She's in it. Good old Sandy.
Right.
So, yeah. Check it out.
She's low-key kind of hot.
Hi, G.
All right, you got Sandra Bullock hotness now.
I hotness.
There's also another movie. It's literally one with Mel Gibson. It's called Forever Young.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
He gets cryogenically frozen. I don't remember. I think he was in the 50s, and he comes around like the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's different, where I don't exactly remember why he gets frozen, but he comes back and he's trying to find his girlfriend, and she's like an old lady now because time has passed. And then he starts aging so fast at the end of the movie, and all he wanted to do was like fly his plane one last time. But it was like a whole different time from. He's like, what are these phones? Where's the circle? Like it was you just have to adjust to the era. I'm like, would you be able to do that? Like, how
No.
different would life be like, let's say 50 years from now? Crazy.
It'd be really hard, to be honest. I think it'd be like sensory overload and you just spaz out.
I think so too. All right. Mike, want to go next? Me take
Yeah.
a shot?
Yeah, so I got one that involves like a lot of major nations, you know? We're talking UK. We're talking Netherlands. We're talking China. The US. Australia.
Some big
And
boys.
France. Yeah, a lot of like big time.
Well,
And I'm pretty sure you guys have all heard this conspiracy, or maybe you've heard of just like the event that happened. This has to do with Malaysian flight 370, and on March 8th, 2014, it went missing. So Twitter kind of went crazy, and it was because like this guy named Ty uploaded a voice recording from the black box of the plane, and the black box is just pretty much like audio recording of like events that happen that can be recovered from a plane if it goes missing. So they could be like, "Oh, what happened?" Well, this is what the pilot was saying before they all went down. And on the voicemail, he recorded the in like NATO alphabet, like undercover, pretty much, like S danger SOS. It is dire for you to evacuate. Be caution, they are not human. Followed by a coordinate of numbers, which is 0429 339
What?
Is
that right?
Those, not the one. It's actually a zero. It's 0429 339 4230. After
143. I love you. One. Not that one.
no, not that one.
Okay.
And the numbers were actually coordinates to the last known flight of 370. And Twitter exploded with all this info. The guy posted on Twitter pretty much like started getting like messages like DM like take this shit off or do not post that. And he got a few in like different languages and then one in Morse code. Well, they pretty much literally all it said was take it off your phone. But the Morse code one, let me see if I could find it. It says they are taking over 41818 April 18th, 2018, pretty much. He ends up deactivating his Twitter, and people are like, why would he deactivate his Twitter? Like, this has to be a hoax. So people are thinking it's a hoax.
He didn't deactivate it.
Well,
They did.
They did, yeah. So along with that time of event, another account was like, this is all a lie. Like, I can't believe we believed it. So the internet found this Thai guy, and he actually had two accounts. And he ended up going on to explain, like, hey, like, I couldn't take all this. I got a lot of hate. The DMs were coming in too much. People were calling him up and leaving voicemails. And some commentators think that the person that said, like, this is fake was actually, like, a government entity posting fake information on there, trying to, like, sway the public into, like, conspiracy against them. And furthermore, like, a French investigator has alleged that the missing flight was shot down by the Air Force. Why? Because the writer says that there was equipment that was being transported to China from the U.S. without their approval. The author also accused several other countries: UK, China, France, Malaysia, Australia, Vietnam, Netherlands. They were all part of it. Prior days before, there was like a Ukrainian war with Russia, and that flight actually went over that airspace. So they're thinking like, maybe it could have been shot down.
I remember that one.
Yeah, the Washington Post writes that Chinese hackers reportedly took classified information the day after it went down. And some commentators additionally reported that there was top 100 scientists on flight. Jope Longe, you guys like that, was on his way to the AIDS conference in Melbourne. He's apparently like top 100. I haven't got to research that part yet.
Was
Top 100 what?
Scientists like in the world.
Top
Like
minds.
There's a
there was
ranking system for that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I don't know how you can rank,
achievements,
scientists.
achievements,
Okay.
contributions to science.
Okay. Okay.
So Bill Nye's number one.
Definitely has to be. So the total kill count was 227 passengers and 12 crews. There was really interesting people on here, like some with like very high doctoral engineering degrees. These weren't just like normal people either. There was quite a bit of interesting profiles. So a lot of people think like it's something happened between governments. There's a huge cover up, and something's not being told correctly.
There's
That's all
something
I got.
definitely missing from Malaysia 37D because
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many videos I see, because it's an interesting case. Like, how can this plane go missing after all the technology we have nowadays?
Mm-hmm.
And just how, just after they lose communication, that plane just veers off out of nowhere. So I don't know, man. I also read one that they thought aliens took it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
or like the Bermuda Triangle, but I
yeah.
don't think they went. Their flight pattern didn't go through there. And also, like people were saying that on the day of it went missing, that they heard like big bangs over the airspace in the Ukraine-Russia territory. But that was actually like other planes that had been shot down. But even if it was like an explosion, there's no debris that they were able to find. They did find the bodies. A few, I think they found 12 bodies out of like the 200 plus people.
To help support your case of it getting shot down, wasn't there pieces like floating onto like Madagascar and like the eastern coast of like Africa after like a few years?
Some places or sites that you look at say that there was debris, and then some said they didn't find anything at all except for like the dead bodies. So that's what's very interesting. Is like this case is very inconsistent. Nothing really adds up because there's too many people, too many places. Big time people are like involved, uh, and so I thought it was very interesting. I was kind of like blown away, like oh my god, like all this information, you know.
And all like the conflicting information too.
Mm-hmm. That was very interesting.
Any thoughts, guys?
All right, I'll solve this one too. So what happened was people on board,
Uh,
they landed this plane in a little island nobody knows about, and the people that didn't want to stick with their story was those 12 people that were found off the coast or whatever, and they're just running that airplane to
they just
somebody's
like took
island
them out. Is
to somebody's island back and forth. I'm not gonna say which island.
mm,
To the UFC fight island.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
and they're using that plane for that.
Mike,
So yeah, there you
I
go.
have
There's the plane.
I have a question. This is
Squid Games Island.
this
What
the
was that?
jail solved it. The Squid Games Island.
Squid
Oh,
Games
yeah.
Island.
Oh, that's an island. I haven't seen Squid Games.
Oh, get this
Oh.
guy out of here,
Yeah,
Mike.
this guy.
The plane was like a 747 type plane, right?
Oh, it's a big
Plane.
ass plane.
Yeah, it's a big plane.
So where in the hell are you gonna find a runway on these small little islands that almost take like 3 miles to stop?
It's true.
I ain't never seen no 3 mile air
Runway?
Runway.
Cut that. Runway. I never see. They're not that big.
They're pretty big.
They're pretty big, especially for those planes. Those planes are massive.
That's something massive for you.
Oh yeah. You know, another interesting thing is like kind of
Good cutaway.
like I started going down into like this rabbit hole with like Amelia Earhart and how like they were actually she was shot down because she wasn't like sailing across the ocean. Her mission was like offered by like the FBI or CIA, pretty much by the
What?
government, to take
What?
pictures of foreign governments, their
Oh,
facilities.
little island, huh?
Yeah, little islands.
Oh,
And there's
interesting.
there's evidence that other pilots at the time were also offered that same opportunity, and she was the one that took it. So that one's also a very interesting conspiracy.
Interesting.
You guys ever watched the
Islands.
show Manifest?
I have not.
Sounds familiar.
I have not.
So basically, what happens in there, and I'm pretty sure it's like loosely based on like the Malaysia flight. But basically, these people go to this place called Montego. They come back on a flight, and mid-flight, the plane goes missing. So then the people on board never realize that it went missing, and then like 5 years later, the plane just arrives at its location.
Huh?
The people that were on board, like no time passed, but everyone else like thought that the plane was missing for all these years.
Sounds like a little bit of Lost.
Yeah,
But I have heard
it's
that
got
one.
some lost elements in there.
I've never seen that.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting though, but it's like kind of like another conspiracy
So I
spin-off,
saw
I
that one.
guess,
I,
from this
I saw
one.
that one. I saw that one too, Joe. So what happened was they were up in the air, and there was a break in space, like quantum physics, like where Ant-Man
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
in that little, and they broke through, and they stayed there for 5 years, and they came back.
I mean, that's kind of the approach the show took, so they could hire you on as a writer.
There we go.
He's a
Hire me.
detective. He's not a writer.
Yeah.
He's a detective.
I do everything, baby.
He's
I'm down for
he's the
whatever.
top one detective. No one else.
There you go.
No. I don't want to take that position away from Johnny Sins.
Oh.
I can't be doing that to my
All-time
guy.
goat.
Yeah. All
Respect.
right. I know you guys have a few more. I'm interested to hear these. Alex, you have another one?
So I had one about a little company called Nestle. You guys heard about them? Make some candies, some water.
Aren't they also owned
They
by
also
like
make
Coke?
up. They make abuelita hot chocolate. That's what I know them for.
The
I
grandma.
didn't know that.
The
I
grandma
didn't know
hot chocolate.
that.
So did you know your little old chocolate making grandma chocolate is actually a very unethical company?
What?
These guys,
Motherfuckers.
they paid $524, 3 digits, to extract 27 million gallons of drinking water. This water is actually worth $80 million. So,
Where?
though this is from your old state, California.
Wow.
So, they apparently drew, since 1988, they drew 27 million gallons from Strawberry Canyon and only paid $500.
Is that why I haven't been able to shower this past year?
They've been doing this for a while. So,
Cry me.
their permit that they still have is them just taking so much. So, they took some from Deer Canyon. Now, I don't know exactly where these canyons are at. I did forget to look that up, but they have taken about 705 million gallons of California water to put it to good use. It's just for bottled water. So they're taking all our water that should be going to, agriculture, showering, since we're in a drought, Nestle's just trying to make money off of it, and they're making a good profit if they only paid, like, I don't even know the percentage, but ridiculously low amount of money. So, what you guys think?
I feel like I have a right to that drinking water.
You're taking from me.
You're taking it from me. That's pretty sus. But I mean, if they're okay, the sus part that they're taking our drinking water, right? That could go to other resources.
Necessities.
Yeah, at a very low discount.
Just a little bit.
Making an insane profit from it. That's kind of unreal to think of. And
It's not really a new thing though.
It's
Like,
true.
Are we
I
surprised?
recently heard about like Harvard, like the grant, like whatever manages their money, had like been buying out like water rights in like Pacific Coast United States, knowing that we were all gonna be going into droughts in the next coming years, and basically just making money for the university on that fact, knowing that because we were gonna have a lot of water that was gonna become really valuable to them. So I mean, it doesn't seem like it. I wouldn't really put it past the big company like Nestle to do it when you got other entities already doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna solve this one?
Are we surprised, boys? Are we really surprised?
No,
Yeah,
not at all.
I don't,
The only thing I'm
surprised.
surprised is the amount they paid for, and it,
Oh, how low it is?
yeah, like
And think about how much
how
they're
they got
making.
away, how much they got away with it too.
All right, let me solve this one.
All right, he's got it.
So what happened was somebody needed to get into a certain office for politics, and they were like, "You scratch my back, I scratch your back," and there we go.
Since the 80s?
And that might be the only one I've been right on about today. So you know.
I'm just wondering, like, who sold them this right to get water, like, for that low too, for $500.
That sounds.
I bet you they wrote those $500 off too.
I mean, if
They
I
didn't
could
pay
go
shit
out,
for it.
I mean, what's gonna stop me from going out and spending $500 on millions of gallons of water and then reselling it? I don't know.
Yeah, but you don't sell a Crunch bar, so fuck you.
Well, Crunch bars suck.
Take it back.
No.
It's an average at best.
You're average at best.
We'll have another discussion of top tier. We'll put the candy bars in tiers.
Now here's a question.
Question.
Do any of you guys even drink Nestle drinking water? I think
I
that's
don't
like
drink bottled water.
I think
I
that's
don't
one of
drink
the
bottled water.
lowest water that you can get. Like you can get like I actually prefer like Aquafina or something like that over Nestle.
I don't drink bottled
agree.
water. I use a hydro flask. Save the dolphins.
And the turtles.
Fuck them turtles.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, backwards. Fuck them dolphins. Save the turtles. Dolphins rape. Dolphins rape. So yeah.
Oh wow.
Jesus
We're gonna have
Christ.
to renew this. We're gonna have to talk about this guy's contract.
So there is also something here that's saying Nestle shouldn't be allowed to use that much water at all, let alone not pay for it. So
And that could help the state if they were to actually pay for it.
yeah,
If the state uses the money wisely.
they were buying the water for 2 cents per gallon, and they were selling the same water. It's not a gallon, so it's way less, for $2 per bottle. So you do the math on that, and that's how much they were making off each bottle.
2,000% markup.
Probably a little more, because that's 2 cents per gallon, and the water bottles are probably like close to it, not that much. A gallon,
2,000% markup.
yeah,
For reals.
per bottle.
Those guys stink.
That's the best you come up with.
Man, that's
Those
wild.
guys stink. Man, that's wild.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna toss it over to Jail.
For sure. All right, guys. Do you guys watch Narcos at all on Netflix?
Yes, sir.
I've been meaning to watch it.
Have you watched the 3rd season, Michael, of Narcos Mexico?
I've seen them all.
You've seen them all. Awesome.
Yes, compa.
Well, then you might be familiar with a little narco named Amado Carrillo Fuentes,
Mm-hmm.
better known in Mexico as El Señor de los Cielos. Now, Amado gained his nickname as a result of his impressive fleet of airplanes, which he used to become the primary distributor of drugs, mostly cocaine, in Mexico and for Colombia's drug cartels as well. It was reported that in the years he was active from the 80s to the late 90s, that he amassed over $25 billion in revenue. This all ended in 1997 when he reportedly died of a heart attack when he underwent plastic surgery to have his appearance changed. However, guys, there's some people out there that think that this guy never really died. They think that he might have faked his death, and there might be some pretty good evidence out there to support that. So, at the time, in the late 90s, the Mexican and American governments were getting heavily involved in the Mexican drug war, and they desperately wanted to catch this guy. He was one of the largest and arguably one of the most successful drug lords that have ever been around. So basically, this guy had to formulate a plan to get away with his money and get away with his life. So in order to avoid capture, he decided he was going to undergo plastic surgery to have his whole appearance changed. And then the plan was that he was going to flee to South America. In the months leading up to this, he bought numerous properties across Chile and Venezuela. Basically in preparation for this move. So some of the evidence out there that suggests that he might have actually just faked his death are the fact that when he underwent the plastic surgery, the only people in the room were the two plastic surgeons that performed the operation and his team of bodyguards. In the week after he supposedly died, they found both the doctors stuffed in gas barrels, both of them killed. Either some people suggest that it might have been because he died during the surgery and the cartel was just upset. Others think that they might have done it just to prevent them talking. It's also been reported that photos of Amado have been really rare. So when they did get their hands on the body, people that knew him said that the guy that they had captured looked nothing like Amado. Now, some people might say that this was because he was undergoing plastic surgery, but there's been detailed reports of things like his hands not looking the same. So, I mean, when you get a plastic surgery, it's usually facial reconstruction. They've said that he might have gotten liposuction as well. But I mean, you wouldn't really think that would have a big impact on how things like your hands would look, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other things have been stories
check his
where
cock size. Check his cock size.
Oh my gosh.
some people have even said stories of FBI agents reporting to the DEA that they've gotten reports that Amado had been back in Chihuahua, Mexico, his old stomping grounds back in the day, as in the early 2000s. And there's been reports in Central and South America of people that said that a very wealthy businessman was paying a lot of money to not have people disclose his move to Venezuela. And if you guys are familiar with the political climate at the time with Venezuela, they were not very friendly with the Americans, so that would be one of the best countries probably if you wanted to hide and avoid extradition to the States. So I'll throw it over to you guys. Give me your thoughts. Do you think that this guy really died on that operating table? Or do you think that he might have successfully faked his death and he's living somewhere and enjoying his retirement down in South America?
I think for sure
He's alive. That
He's
bastard.
alive,
That
yeah.
bastard's fucking alive.
Yeah. And the surgeons were just a loose end they had to clean up. Because I mean, there's only two of them in there. Usually you have a team.
All right, I'll solve this one.
All right.
That guy is sucking down some Terramana tequila in Venezuela. He is alive. He did it. Good for him. Good for him.
That's it.
So
Yeah,
one of
no,
the things
It's pretty cut and dry, boys. That's pretty. I mean, it's pretty spot on.
a lot of people talk about you think about the biggest drug traffickers, you think Chapo, you think Pablo Escobar. I mean, for comparison, Chapo's worth was $1 billion when he finally came down. This guy was worth $25 billion in the 90s.
Yeesh.
I mean, just
Loaded.
imagine the scale of that.
That's a whole lot of money.
Yeah, a guy worth that much money could probably pretty much do and get away with whatever he wants and not have anybody know about it.
True. Oh, you can just pay everybody off at that point.
I mean,
Especially in Mexico.
yeah, I mean,
Especially in Mexico.
look what they did
Love
for a
you,
Chapo.
Mexico.
Look what they did for a Chapo and all his tunnels. I wouldn't put it past people to just get this man away, especially during the times, and how Venezuela really doesn't like how the U.S. is. Too coincidental, if you ask me.
Yeah, I guess there's even a story that a supposed cousin of his confirmed that he was still alive in Venezuela as early as 2015.
Jesus.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this man was.
That cousin's dead, by the way.
Oh,
Is he really?
yeah, you know
Well,
that?
I would imagine.
Oh, because he said
He's
that.
like,
He snitched
he snitched on his boy. He's like, yeah, this guy's.
He had
Yeah,
to
If
rap.
he's dead, no,
For
if he's
sure.
dead, If
He's alive.
dead, he's actually alive. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Got it right.
Yeah, apparently they've tried to reach out to the guy after the fact that he said that, and like no one's been able to get in contact with
Oh,
him.
that guy's alive.
Oh.
Ain't no conspiracy here.
Dead.
Yeah. Is Tupac still
That's good.
alive? No.
Tupac, Juice World, Michael Jackson.
What?
They're all on an island together, just chilling.
All yeah. Maybe there's an island we have no idea about.
They're out there with all those Malaysian people. The same island.
There you go.
They're all just chilling. Conspiracy
What?
confirmed. All right, guys. So we're reaching that hour mark already. Interesting topics. Get you something to think about today. But before we go, I want to do Florida Man. On this day,
Shout out.
the 20th of November. It's an interesting one. So apparently, a man got arrested for having sex with a miniature horse on multiple occasions. 4 separate occasions, this man was seen having relations with an animal. Just leave it to Florida to do something like this.
Man, y'all Floridians are wild.
He got.
Like, what?
Was he giving or receiving?
I'll tell you that.
Yes.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yes.
He said he had to put a condom on because he didn't want to get any diseases from the horse.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like get the horse pregnant or something.
Oh my god.
Hey, there's no hope. There's no hope for Florida.
Yeah, that's-
Oh man.
Oh man, Florida, you keep. All right. I'm gonna close it out today. Michael's to my right. Eddie, JL's right there. Thank you everyone for listening. And we want to encourage you guys to reach out to us on Instagram. Let it be YouTube. If we make the TikTok, we'll let you guys know. We want to get you guys involved. Bring us your stories, questions, anything you want Eddie to solve. Send it in. And
Eddie will be on it.
yeah, Detective Eddie.
It'll be on it like white on rice. Don't you worry about that.
All right, guys. For all these guys, I'm gonna close it out. This is Motel A&M.